Hello, I'm Kimberly Houck, the Managing Editor for Prospecting Today. If you're a real estate agent who wants to learn from the experts how to build a sustainable business, well then make sure you subscribe to the Prospecting Today YouTube channel.
Hi Carlton, this is Maria Hoffman over at Tampa Home Group Keller Williams. You were kind enough to reach out to me a while back about your home here in Longwater Run. I just wanted to stay in touch with you and let you know we just closed the neighbor's home at 18133 Longwater. Closed last week for $1,580,000. So great new neighbors. I hope you can welcome them. They should be moving in soon. And if you have any questions about your own home, Carlton, or the market, please do reach back out to me. I'm here at the office.
I got my license after our second son was born. He was 2, and so for the first probably, 7, 8, 9 years, all I did was prospect. I did not go on appointments. I never went on a listing appointment. I never took a buyer out to see a home. I just got on the phone and prospected.
Never give up. Mm-hmm. There's no shortcuts. You know, I remember making the conscious decision I was going to work harder than everybody else in my office. Mm-hmm. And if you're the hardest working person in your office and you're competitive and you don't take shortcuts, you'll succeed. It's not a magic formula, but it's not easy for most agents to follow.
We actually just started with the people that we knew, and probably like the crisscross directory or the cold directory to get numbers for like the just listed, just sold. John had already gotten into the Mike Ferry coaching, so we had a broker that I met, and her name was Jan Newell, and you know, she taught me. I just learned right from the very beginning the Mike Ferry system and the scripts, and so that's what I did. You know, I would drop off the kids at preschool at 8:30, and then I would have like 3 hours until 11:30 where I could work. And so I would do that. I would get on the phone, or I'd do that sometimes on the weekends. And in the very beginning, I really only ever called clients, past clients, people we knew, you know, other moms I knew, neighbors. I mean, I never even called an expired or for sale by owner. That terrified me. I would have been afraid to do that.
For example, when I'm asking somebody on a just listed or just sold call, and one of the questions is, so tell me, how long have you lived in the neighborhood for? And if they say 12 years, my response is, oh my gosh, the average homeowner moves every 7 years. I'm sorry, you're ruining the average. You're going to have to move.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get that person to laugh, mm-hmm. it becomes a lot easier. So James, if you could virtually be guaranteed to go back on the market and being under contract in less than 30 days, is that worth 25 minutes of your time? No, that's a fair question. The reason I say that is over the last 18 months, our average days on the market right now is 12. And full disclosure, part of that is the benefits of the COVID market with the inventory being so low. But then again, you just came off the market, so there must be an issue. Do you agree?
When you just change your mindset, in the beginning I was a little bit maybe not wanting to do it, or just the natural reluctance that we all have. And you know, and I just learned affirmations just to change the way I thought about it. I mean, I would just say, I love prospecting. And I really do. I mean, and I say that sincerely, I actually do love it.
Hi, is this Kalebi? Hello, Kalebi. This is Maria Hoffman over at Tampa Home Group. I'll only keep you a minute and I'll let you get back to your day. But I'm calling with a question about your home here at 3123 West LaSalle Street. Is that still available?
I have a lot of fun with it. You know, people, you know, I don't take it personally ever. When I speak with somebody and they're not interested, that's okay. I understand that they might not have been waiting for my call. But the thing is, there are people out there that need us, and it is my job to find them. It's not their job to find me. So I might call you up and say, hi Kimberly, it's Maria Hoffman from the Moms Club. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I just wanted to let you know that I sell real estate for a living. So I just was curious. I mean, do you have anybody right now that you really trust? That, let's say if you had a real estate question or a need, I mean, do you have a go-to person? You know, and I'd say, well, you know, I would like to be that person for you. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if there's ever anything you need, we're here for you.
Okay, great.
And so just a very kind of a natural conversation. And then it's really just the repetition. It's just then calling them in the beginning, every month or every quarter. And it's the accumulation effect of doing that, really for years.
Yeah. Well, gosh, this looks like a great house. Are you still planning on selling it? Oh, okay. You're going to wait. Yeah, no problem. I'll make a note of that. I'm just curious, had the home sold, where were you going next?
There was like our own neighborhood that we lived in that we really did a good job of staying in touch with, like that one particular neighborhood, about 200 homes, in the next door neighborhood. So, that was like a pretty set neighborhood that I would do, and I would actually even door knock too. I would do that, so which I really enjoyed.
Maria, this is the listing appointment I'm going on tomorrow, and this is the property that expired, and it was on the market they reduced it to $2.99 million. The house is spectacular, but even in today's competitive market, I'm thinking 2.7, 2.675 is probably as high as he should go, but I'd like to get your input. What do you think? Let me show you some of the pictures.
Yeah. I was over at that other one that just closed. I mean, I had been in that one, and that was really nice. So,
this is an 8,800 square foot house, and the average electric bill is $420.
yeah.
I was the homeroom mom. I was the PTA person and the fundraiser, and John. One day he came home and said, it might be kind of nice if you raised some funds for our family, since we're not going to have any. Yeah. We could see as the market was just taking a dive, really, and that, the number of people that would even be able to sell Kimberly was just going way down because a lot of people didn't have enough equity. And we really considered even, leaving the area. We knew that it was going to be a very serious situation. So at that point, I jumped in and went 100% full-time to work with John, and I worked as a buyer's agent. So he worked with all of the listings, and then I worked with all of the buyers. So I was a buyer's agent for probably 2009, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, those years I was a buyer's agent. It was door knocking. And I knocked on a door, and it was a super great couple. They were looking to buy in the neighborhood. And it so happened there was a listing that was a bank owned, and they were interested in it. So we wrote the offer, and the offer got rejected. And so the buyer was pretty upset, actually got in touch with the bank and, wanted the offer to be resubmitted. So just through that whole interaction, we ended up having conversations with that bank. And long story short, we ended up becoming the listing agent, John did, for a large bank, and then started to do, as we move forward from like 2009, 10, 11, the REO and the bank owned. So that was absolutely how we, weathered that storm, and it was a very difficult market. So it was literally knocking on a door that to make a long story short, that sort of led to that. And of course, John doing a great job with, actually selling them and doing all the work that's involved with that. Truly, it doesn't matter whether you're cold calling, knocking on doors, even answering the leads that are coming in. I mean, when leads are coming in, whether it's through Zillow or calling in on a sign for a listing, or even somebody that's calling in for information, you have to know what to say to that person. So regardless of how that call is happening or that conversation, it's a conversation with a person.
Yeah.
So you have to know what to say, and you have to really understand, what kind of questions you should be asking. So really, it's asking questions is really what it is.
And you told me you were looking to buy another house right away. So where are you moving? Here in town or somewhere else? Here in town. Okay.
I would say the market is always changing. So what it took to be successful in 2005 and 2010 and 2015, now in 2021, it's going to be different in 2025. You know, you have to constantly be working on your skills, you know, adapting what you do, but you do have to have the basics. You know, that does not go away. You know, in the end, and I talk to so many top agents, and the conversations that we have is no matter how many things change, we all find ourselves going back to the basics.
If you like this interview you're watching and you want to see more like this one, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Prospecting Today YouTube channel.
It's the scripts, it's knowing what to say, and it's knowing how to handle objections. It's the schedule and the discipline and the routine. I mean, that's huge. I mean, you know, when you work really hard to get to a certain level, there's a certain amount of activity and discipline that it takes to get to that level. And once you get to that level, it can be really easy to sort of, you know, ease up on doing those things. And yet we know, like, that's what it takes to get to that level of success. And the hard thing is that once you do it, you realize that it's even harder to keep doing it.
Okay, do you need help finding something?
You know, we always have to be talking to folks, and of course it does get a lot easier because as you do this for so many years, and then you know, you have the honor of helping so many great people, and then of course they do send us, you know, wonderful referrals, or they come, you know, to buy or sell, or even their kids now are starting to buy homes and sell homes, and so it does definitely get easier. So when you're, you know, doing it for a long time, you know, the work that you're doing now, you are investing in your future of real estate if you're doing that work. I get up super early just because I'm a morning person, so, and I have to have that quiet time. So, you know, and for me, that is prayer, you know, and I have, you know, and my faith is really important to me. So, you know, a few days a week, I will have like a workout at 5:30. So shower, get ready, you know, get my day going. I have usually a 7:30 role play with, you know, one of my Mike Ferry, you know, agents that, you know, they're in all different markets, but we usually do that, you know, that call.
Like for me, my schedule starts the night before. I have to be in bed by a certain time, because if I don't get the sleep that my body needs, I don't perform at a high level. So no, you've got to do the same thing every day.
I would normally be on the phone at 8 o'clock calling expired listings. We don't have as many of those right now as we have in the past. I mean, in like say in 2016, 2017, 2018, that was a huge part of our listing business. It just, you know, has changed. That's not as big of a part of our business, but the exciting thing here is that, you know, I will make some calls, and then at 8:30 we actually have our team huddle. So we have some awesome buyers agents, and so we are all here right at 8:30 to do a group role play right here in our office. And so we'll be handling whatever topic we're dealing with for the day. If anyone's got a certain situation, you know, we're going to handle that right then, like as a group. So it's a team, it's fun, and you know, so that's what we're doing at 8:30. We wrap that up. I mean, maybe that's 15 minutes. It could go to 30. Then at 9 o'clock, then I'm back on the phone myself because I still have to, you know, make the calls that I have to make.
So are you interviewing any other agents at this point?
The market changes. I mean, think about the pandemic, right? And think about everything that happened and how we all kind of had to change what we were saying and what we were doing, because all of a sudden people had a whole different set of concerns and a whole different set of objections, you know? And now that we're moving through it, you know, we're finding that, you know, people have a whole different set of concerns and objectives. And, you know, a lot of the people maybe an expired listing, they're off the market because they couldn't find anything to buy. You know, that's a different objection, and it's a different situation than they couldn't get their price.
To be successful in this market, you've got to stay ahead of it. And what I mean by that is you really have to know your numbers. You have to understand accurate pricing. For example, most agents list property for sale looking at comps from 2 or 3 months ago, but the market's moving so quickly that house is below market value. So a lot of buyers look at list price and think it's the market value, and they don't want to pay over it. So they never end up buying a house, and that's a problem. So you need to know your numbers, and you need to also understand that if you're a Mike Ferry agent, there's not as many expireds. There's very few for sale by owners. So you really want to focus on your past clients, your sphere of influence, but also it's a great market for just listed, just sold calls. because the inventory is so short. So when you do a just listing call and call around the neighborhood, they usually know one or two people that might want to buy that house. So there's a great advantage to the market. So look in the market, it's always challenging, and look at where the little pockets are for success.
Because you've got your gal right here. Okay. So when I see you, how much did you want to list the home for?
You'll get here in the morning and there might be one expired. There might be none. There might not be any for sale by owners. So really, we focus more on our past clients and sphere of influence and are reaching out to them in a much more aggressive fashion.
We do a bi-weekly video that goes out to our entire database.
You are not going to want to miss your Tampa Bay real estate market update for our first quarter of 2021. Hi friends, I'm Maria Hoffman. Welcome back to Tampa Home Group TV. Thanks for joining me. Wanted to fill you in on the latest real estate stats here in our Tampa Bay market. Wow, it's exciting. We've never seen numbers like this. It's quite frankly the hottest, most exciting real estate market that any of us have seen.
It's generally just topics, educational topics in the real estate market. So some will be geared more towards sellers, some will be geared more toward buyers. This last one that we did had to do with some changes that are going on in the homeowners insurance market. So just, kind of, whether or not you're in the market, it's just, we just want to communicate with you and keep you updated on the market so that hopefully what we're doing is just sending out items of value to people. We'll always put some of our listings on there, which is cool because we can see when people, click on those and we can see who was interested, so we can go ahead and, follow up with those people as we promise our sellers, because that's that's our number one job, obviously, is to sell the homes for our sellers. And so, all of our marketing is geared toward that. So we obviously do a lot with putting our listings out there and just, in social media and pretty much on all the websites. So, and that does, generally bring in a lot of leads as well.
First of all, the headline here has to be record sale prices. Prices actually up year over year, 22.9%, with the average home sale price topping $357,000. That's actually a big gain that's actually occurred even in the last 2 months, January, February, and February to March. We saw a 4% increase and then a 6% increase just in the last month alone. So the velocity of the increase is really, it's picking up speed, and we're just seeing such a large demand with many, many people moving here to the Tampa Bay market.
I would say for the time invested, for the time and money invested, it is actually staying in touch with our past clients.
Okay.
I mean, that is just by far the most, it's the best time you invest. We call them. We call, we do the video, but not everybody looks at that, right? So we also will do mailings, and then we've always, for the past 10 years until the pandemic, do a big client party. And that's always been a really great event where we just, we want to just show people how much we appreciate them. So hopefully we can start up, that again. Soon.
And how often do you call your past clients?
So, the goal is 4 times a year. If I list a home in the neighborhood of a past client, I'll just give them a quick call or text them the home. I mean, there's all just different kinds of ways to reach out. So certainly, these days there's a lot that we can be doing.
Yeah.
Lead follow-up, it's making the calls, setting appointments, pre-qualifying. So obviously, we have a set system that, once we make an appointment, the pre-qual questions and
Oh no, there's always listings to be had. Don't think that there's never listings to be had. Look in the multiple listing. There's listings coming on the market every day. But are you as an agent doing everything you can to find them? Are you a hunter or are you a quitter? That's what every agent should really ask themselves.
This is one of the most exciting markets that I think we've ever been in, certainly in our lifetime. And it's just the sellers are loving the prices, obviously, and the buyers are loving the interest rates. Buyers will, I hear people say things like, well, there aren't any houses to buy, and, or sellers might say, well, gosh, I'd move, but I don't have any place to go. Well, the reality is there are places to go. People are getting homes. I mean, here in our Tampa market in the first quarter, there were 5,900 closed home sales. So we can't say that there aren't homes on the market because there were 5,900 that closed, which is up from 5,200 last year.
Yeah.
So we do have sales happening. We have a lot of opportunities. It's just that what it takes to get that home is more than what it used to be. In other words, you've got to be quick to the home if you're a buyer. You've got to understand what it takes to write a good, strong offer. And we're educating our buyers. We're going through the market data. We're showing them what's going on in the market and showing them why right now it's going to take more than appraised value to buy a house, because if there are 18 other buyers that want that house and we know the market is going up, you have to be very direct with buyers about what it is going to take to buy a home. And I can tell you our agents here are doing a fantastic job of that. But it's like, what does it take to get a home when there are 18 offers? What are the things that you're writing into the offer? How can we sweeten the offer? What are the ways that, that we're putting our buyers in a good position? And so it's just a mindset. I just wake up excited every day, because the people that we're helping, I mean, last Thursday we had all 3 buyers agents each had a closing, and we had one listing close that was we were all excited, and it was just a great day. And the transactions were between literally 100,000 to 1.58 million, and that person with the $100,000 condo was just so excited and happy. And, it just reminded me of, what's so great about this business is that, what we're doing for people is we're helping them get to where they want to go, And I think you have to have a good agent right now. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a time in real estate where having a great agent is so important. Number one, being a professional, is doing your job, and treating it like a job, showing up, and being full-time. I mean, I really think it's a hard business to try to do part-time. I mean, I know there are people that, are trying to start part-time and move into it. It's just, it really is, I think it requires like a lot of devotion and time and effort to really master the business. Really studying the market stats, understanding the market, really knowing what is going on, and, understanding home values, understanding the contract. You've got to protect your clients. And I see so many agents that maybe don't understand the contract, don't understand all of the different ins and outs and the strategies. And so, and then we have to be part coach, and encourager. Sometimes we have to give news that people don't want to hear, and it's having that courage to just tell people the truth and not be attached to the outcome. But, John and I, we talk about it, our promise to people is that we will never put our interests before our clients. We want to tell people the truth, and, whether that results in a sale for us or not, that's okay. But, we're here and we want the long-term relationship with people. You don't always have the great outcome, or you look back at the call and you realized, oh, I should have said this, or oh, I should have said that, and I've pretty much made every mistake there is to make. So I've pretty much had, every situation you could possibly have, and probably said the wrong thing a million times. And just through having a coach and, being involved in the Mike Ferry organization, which is just, I would tell people, like, you need to be involved in ongoing coaching and training, because the market's always changing and we've always got to get better. But in terms of, it gets a lot easier. It gets a lot easier because your mindset is different. I don't get flustered or upset or, sort of rattled as easily.
Yeah. And how did you pick that price?
We use FollowUp Boss, which is a great CRM, and you're probably familiar with that. Has great capability where you can, email, text, call, all out of one database, so that all the communications with, with a contact are right there, and even with multiple agents. So like if I've got somebody who, it's a buyer that comes in that maybe Martika has, and they've got a house to sell, all of the notes are there, and it's a way that we can deliver really great service. I set an appointment, And I think it was an expired. I think it was a listing that had expired. It had come off the market. And so I set up the appointment. I did the pre-qual questions. I found out that he was interviewing another agent. He did tell me that his mom was an agent and that, you know, he was maybe thinking he might list it with her. But he didn't make too much of that. And so anyway, when I actually show up to the appointment and I pull up and you know, and there's another agent leaving. There's a gentleman with a briefcase and a woman, and so I knock on the door and I go in, and so just you kind of start the presentation, and I realize that they're still in the room is the seller and his wife and his family and his mom, who's the agent. So she's there. She's at the presentation, and so you know we're going through the house, and he actually followed me upstairs, which I normally just go up by myself. But I said, so why am I here? Because obviously your mom's here, and I get the idea that you're just gonna list the home with your mom, and I'm happy to step back if that's what you're gonna do. And I said, but you know you hired me for a reason, or you called me to come out for a reason. I said, so, you know, if there were an advantage to hiring me over your mom, would you be open to that? Mm-hmm. And if so, I'm happy to give the presentation. So, and I could tell he was a little bit hesitant maybe to hire his mom because his mom was brand new and she didn't know sort of maybe she was a little unsure and maybe he just wasn't sure how to get out of the situation. But in any case, it was the weirdest thing. So yes, I sat down at the dining room table with all of us and I gave the listing presentation with him, his wife, his kids were there, and his mom. Mm-hmm. So I actually gave the listing appointment, gave the whole thing to his mom, with his mom there. And he, you know, at the end, they decided that they did want to use me. And I said, well, you know, how about we have your mom refer it to me and we can work together. You can list it with me. You're going to get the full service of, you know, our expertise and getting you top dollar, and your mom can actually work with us step by step through the whole contract. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and work with us.
I remember my first day calling expired listings. Mm-hmm. And I remember calling these folks, and I followed the script. You know, hi, this is John with Nothingo Gallery of Homes. I'm calling with 2 questions for you today. Number 1, do you plan on remarketing your home? And number 2, have you thought of changing your representation? That was the script. Mm-hmm. And this is in 1986. Mm-hmm. And the people on the other end of the line said, you know what, we're not sure. We're still thinking about it. I'm like, okay, thank you for your time. And I hung up.
Oh, no.
I'll never forget that. So we all have failures. I've done this for 34 years, so I've been through the learning curve a few times. So when you make a mistake or you have a failure, don't worry about it. It happens to everybody. Just think of it as, well, I'm never going to do that again. Mm-hmm. And continue to learn as you grow. And the one bit of advice is, if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't make it up. Mm-hmm. I would tell people, you know what, I'm 99% sure I have your answer, but I want to be 100% sure. Can I call you back?
Great.
And then I'd find out you'd never, because when you tell somebody something and they're perceiving you as an expert and you're wrong, mm-hmm. you can never get that trust back.
Be fanatical about your numbers. Mm-hmm. That would be my one piece of advice. And I do track my numbers, and I didn't do that in the very beginning. I didn't like doing it, maybe because I didn't like what they said. Mm-hmm. But when I learned to actually look at them fanatically, like every day, recording them, looking at what we did this week or what I want to do next week, or you know, what is it going to take? What do I have to do every week? If my goal is this, what has to happen every week? Have a coach. Hire a coach. You really need to have a coach. This is a really, really hard industry to be in if you don't have somebody helping you. So, I mean, every athlete at every level, no matter who they are, you know, has coaches and trainers. So I would say definitely get a coach.
Don't give up. If you can get through the next year, you're going to be in this business for a long time doing very well. Just work harder than you're working now, and don't give up.